Hi guys, welcome to another episode. Today we're at Gunnar's hold and we're going to finally, I've been talking about it so much in the previous episodes, start off with this tournament. Okay, so, yeah, a big thing about the Norn, as we know, are that they're very independent as a race. They all like to do things on their own. So we're actually going to be going into this tournament. It's not like a team tournament like most of Guild Wars is, you know, a team-based game. It's all solo, so I have no idea how well this is going to go. Now, a lot of people just kind of wing it in this, and they even farm the tournament by using a really powerful spirit spamming build. That's the one you saw me using in the Ring of Fire at the end of Prophecies. Now, a big part of me doesn't want to use that just because it's so typical and everybody uses it and it doesn't really show much skill and stuff like that. But it's also a very hard thing. Before this came along, this tournament was a very difficult aspect of the game and a very fun one, and they put a lot of effort into it. There's just so much going on at this arena. And I'm hoping to show you it all. I mean, there's lots of quotes, lots of things. So we'll actually go in for a quick little dummy run and I'll show you what's going on. And yeah, we'll see how it goes. This is probably going to be a lot of work. I have no idea how I'm going to complete it without spirit spamming. Hopefully my default skills can take me a reasonable amount of the way. Who knows? Anyway, so to start the tournament, we speak to this mighty looking Norn here. I love his hammer, actually. That is pretty cool, isn't it? Called Magni the Bison. Hello, Magni. Okay, so he says, I laugh at heroes, I scoff at dragons, I even deride the titans. None have withstood my strong right arm, none have bested Magini the Bison. This tournament will decide who has the right to challenge me. Okay, so he even talks about dragons here. I don't know what he's talking about there. The only dragons we've ever met, or that we know exist right now, are the bone dragons, which came from ore, which probably are like a spawn of Zaitan, because Zaitan's asleep under ore. But yeah, anyway, so he says, you have something of a reputation among the other weaklings, but you still need to defeat 5 opponents in my tournament before earning the right to face me, your 6th and final challenge. And for getting this, you get lots of skills and some cool stuff. These are pretty good skills. You'll see this one, a touch of guile, and finish him. There's tons of references here. You know, I said last episode about the dwarven boxing, how there's a lot of references to sort of boxing. This is just that it's just so many references to fighting games. I'm not going to be able to catch them all. I'll try and mention a few, but I mean, if you guys if you're sitting there thinking, oh, I love fighting games, I've played loads, if you've played lots of Mortal Kombat and stuff, lots of Street Fighter I think comes up here, then yeah, you're gonna be in your element here. There's so many. So yeah, okay, so I'll defeat more than one opponent before I'm through. So we got 6 rounds to go through, right? Alone, and the 6th round is Magini. The catch is that in every round you have a random opponent you can go up against. I'm going to show you every single opponent. So there's usually 6 opponents in every round. So we're going to be working our way through 6 rounds, each one with 6 different characters to defeat. And every character we defeat is actually someone we used to know and used to work alongside us in the story, whether they be with us or against us. And it's really quite cool. Okay, so let's go in for this dummy run. Gelir Frostshield.
Why are you here?
You want to enter the tournament? Ha! You do look a little more fit than some others, but you certainly no match for Magini. That will be 100 gold for the honour of participating, and the cost of the pine box. So, yeah, you actually have to pay. It's a bit of a gold sink, because like I said, it used to be so hard. It probably drained quite a lot of cash out of people. But there's a cool reward for it, which I'll show you. Anyway, alright, so I'm ready to enter. What's this? Are you trying to cheat? Oh, I don't even have 100 gold. Matt, why are you so poor? Okay, guys, I will cut it until I've got the money and come back. Okay, there we go, nice and sorted. Oh, also the other thing, of course, is we need to say goodbye to Ogden for a little while because it's a solo mission. So see you later, Ogden, or maybe we'll see him in there. Ooh, who knows? Okay, so let's go.
Who goes there?
I'm ready. These battles you must face alone. You'll be separated. Let's do it. So I like what they did. There's a lot of kind of solo stuff they did in the Eye of the North. I think it was that at this point Arenanet realised how annoying it was to have to be in a party for every single bit of content before. And you know, in Guild Wars 2 they've changed that as well. Like the whole game is mostly, like the main storyline at least, is soloable. Okay, so our first opponent is Lo Shah. He says, winning this tournament will be exceptionally easy. The whole world will acknowledge my greatness, and my Ling will no longer be able to resist my charms. Right, so I'll do a more in-depth look at this fight in a minute. But this is kind of how it works. You've got the tournament, you come inside. When you step out, they'll lock you in there with him, and we have to fight each other. So let's get our avatar up. You'll see for the purposes of this, I've left actually the skill monitor on, because they all use kind of cool skills and weird builds that sort of, in history, have been quite funny and useful in different ways throughout the Guild Wars history. Okay, and you also get lots of spectators. This is the other thing I need to show you. And these guys all have unique things to say depending on who you're fighting. No shit, they really do. So like this guy saying, what a puzzling fighter, because Lo Shah is a mesmer. Lo Shah, I've got, yeah, anyway, I'll go into more detail later, but this is how it works. Let's see if we can actually beat him. Your hope of winning is only an illusion. Oh god, he's using illusion magic. So you don't obviously have to kill people, you just got to get their health nice and low. So he's healing himself. Come on, Corey. There we go, yeah. Okay, so we beat him. You struck me, not even my father would hit such a beautiful face. Your team becomes victorious and you get to move on to the next mission. But I'm not going to do that because that will be later. So I will now show you guys the leaderboard of sorts, which is, please don't insult it. This was my first experience ever really with Photoshop. And it's not very good. Most of it was even done in paint, but I did kind of a little tournament lineup thing. So let's have a look at who we're going to be fighting and when. Okay, so here we go. This is the leaderboard. As you can see, we've got 6 rounds worth of enemies. All the rounds have got a fair few combatants that we need to be facing. With Magini the Bison himself, of course, up at the top alone. Down at the bottom of the ladder, shall we say, we've got Matt, Peter, and Tom, all with their pets and friends, ready to help fight. And they'll be working their way all the way up along this red and yellow line. So also you can see on the rounds I've assigned one of our opponents to be a champion of sorts. Now these are characters that I've got a lot more to talk about, whether that be because they give us a special item that takes us on a massive quest maybe, or something along those lines. So yeah, this is what we're going to be doing, and I'm pretty sure for this episode at least we'll be looking at round 1, starting with Kilroy Stonekin, then Kisai, then Little Tom, Loshar, Sogalon, not Solagon, I always used to call him Solagon, it's Sogalon, and ending with the first champion. So let's do it. Okay, so here we go, the Norn Fighting Tournament, round 1. Our first opponent is quite a cool one, Kilroy Stonekin, a character we just met. You can see he screams his name there. Obviously, he's based off of Leroy Jenkins, so and his skills reflect that. No matter whether he wins or loses, as one of the spectators say, the battles end quickly because he uses frenzy. It's just quite a hilarious fight, quite a nice one to start off with, I guess. Speaking of the spectators, as we go through here, I'm going to be putting text on the screen, which has any quotes from the spectators which possibly reference other things, and these were all added to the wiki by John Stummy, which is pretty cool, so you can read those as we go through. So there we go, he's dead, and he says, next time I just need to scream louder. Quite a cool guy. That's the first fight. Let's move on to opponent 2. Okay, so the second opponent is Kisai. This woman was one of the earliest henchmen in Guild Wars faction, so Tom met her a long time ago. I guess it would have been more fitting if Tom fought her, not Matt, but there you go. So as the gates open, she says, it's an honour to meet you on the battlefield. You surely are an able opponent. I only wish that I could say the same for myself. I will do my best to make this a good fight. So yeah, she was the really unconfident one. I think it's quite cool that actually she was the one with so little confidence. She still doesn't seem to have very much, but she's sort of the henchman that ended up coming up here to the Isle of North, which is pretty cool. Yeah, you'll notice in Kilroy's fight I was talking very fast, but I'm being slower here. That's because this took a little bit longer to do because she likes to she uses blinding surge all the time. She's an air elementalist, very annoying. So sort of, I guess I was lucky that Corey was there because Corey sometimes took the blind. She seemed to swap between the two of us, and yeah, she just eventually she went down. So in those times where she didn't have me blinded, I could get the hits off on her. So yeah, this was the second fight. Again, all of this round, actually, just so that you guys know, is going to be with Matt. Some fights go a lot quicker, some fights go a bit slower. So anyway, she's dead. She says, I guess I need to train harder. I will be strong like you someday. Let's roll on to the next. Okay, so the next combatant is Little Tom. So this was a guy who was with us pretty much the whole way through Prophecies. A deserter of the Ascalonian army. If you remember, there was actually a quest I talked about. I never actually showed it. I kind of regret it because it keeps coming back. Anyway, the gates open. He says, don't take this the wrong way, but you're not even half so intimidating as angry Farrah Capo. I need these tournament winnings to settle some old debt, so I'm going to be beating you now. So yeah, Farrah Capo was like the guy who he ran away from. Just generally a cool guy. The best thing about this fight though is he's using a build. Can you see there? He's using Firestorm. It's called Hamstorm, this build. When the game first came out on like an advertisement for Guild Wars, they said they were talking about the secondary profession system, and they gave an example build, and the idea was that you'd cripple people and they'd get stuck in firestorms as a warrior, but it was building a boat. It was just a terrible, terrible, terrible build, and it's like become renowned as one of the worst builds ever, and people always run it as jokes and stuff. And Arenanet actually gave him that build. He's using Hamstorm, which is just great. So we beat him. He says, my blade was just a little dull. You won't be so lucky next time. Yeah, if you stick with that build, you'll never win. So I think it was great Arenanet actually put that in and decided to talk about it. Let's go on to the next. Alright, so this is Lo Shah. This is the guy we were fighting in the dummy round. Lo Shah was a headmaster on Xingji Island again. He was trying to marry this Mai Ling. Last we heard of him was at the end of Factions, where he was exaggerating his role in the story of Factions. So he says, when the gate opens, winning this tournament will be exceptionally easy. The whole world will acknowledge my greatness, and Mai Ling will no longer be able to resist my charms. So that's what we read before, and we can go out and try and fight him. So yeah, he's the illusion guy. He wasn't too difficult as far as I remember. You just kind of smash him about. Like I said, my build's not very good for this. I mean, I'm not expecting to get very far. It just so happens that I didn't lose any of the rounds in the first round of the Norn tournament, but as we go further it could get a lot harder. Okay, so he's dead. He says, "You struck me, not even my father would hit such a beautiful face." So yeah, a bit of a pompous moron really, but there you go, that's Lo Shah. Who have we got next? Sogalon. So yeah, this is Sogalon. Again, another early henchman, this time from Nightfall. So it seems like in the first round they give you a lot of the early henchmen. Not to say that they're all much easier to defeat than some of the guys in the later rounds, but there we go. So as the gate opens, he says, "The gods are with you this day. Lysra has blessed you with the chance to bask in my radiant good looks. Duena will comfort you in your loss." So a lot of these guys are quite arrogant actually early on. I think they're all quite arrogant actually, to be honest. But yeah, so this guy, he was named after one of the earliest Sun Spears. If you remember, we met his ghost early on in Nightfall. And yeah, he's a paragon, so sadly he doesn't really pose much of a threat. As far as I can tell, his build's just kind of this generic shouting paragon build thingy. A bit disappointing, but yeah, kind of easy to break. Remember, he was trained by Kos, as we learned early on. Anyway, so there we go, he's dead. He says, "Interesting, I lost, and yet I feel nothing. Perhaps the feeling of loss is simply the absence of gain. There are many answers I must seek." So a bit philosophical, let's move on. Speaking of arrogance, here's the champion. So it's probably not going to be clear to you guys why this guy is the champion, but it's a character we've never met, and that's kind of the criteria for champions for a couple of these coming up. So yeah, this is the Great Zetaka. He says, "Stand in awe, the greatest of all hunters is before you. Someday you will tell your grandchildren that this was the day you met a legend in the flesh." So yeah, very arrogant guy. Don't really know very much about him just yet. Wait for me to go on in. He's got quite a cool build. He likes to use traps. Lots of so like he considers himself quite a good hunter. You'll see it's quite interesting fighting him. So there you can see he starts blocking me, and then he starts laying all of these traps down which blind. So I got the hell away, and he just kind of stands there trapping Corey, and then I waited till I thought I could see an opening, which was now, and then ran on in and tried to take him out. So I'm going to show you this whole fight with me killing him and show you his ending dialogue, and then we're going to learn who this guy is, because this is a character we could have met a long time ago and I ignored him the whole way through Nightfall. So he's down. He says, "The Great Zetaka has allowed you to win so that you do not become discouraged by your failures. Let that be a valuable lesson to you." So just who is the Great Zetaka? Okay, so let's imagine we're still sort of in the middle of the Nightfall storyline, okay? And we've just established the Sunspear Sanctuary, and we found the Jahai Bluffs. If you look at where I always came here, I never took a left. So if we take a left, we'll find the Great Zetaka. I believe he's around this corner up here, and he's in a, let's say, a spot of trouble. Oh god, look at all the aggressive lions. So, aggressive lionesses, sorry. Loads of them, and then Zetaka's like right there in the middle of them all. They're kind of surrounding him. He's obviously trapped. He's obviously going to die. So let's go help him out, shall we? I can't remember how strong these things are. I take it probably not very strong. Oh, look at all that damage. Oh, yes. Okay. So we just committed a murder on a lot of innocent lions. Okay. Let's see if the man who we saved was worth it. Hello. He says, "Phew, that was a close one. That is to say, close for them. You see, the Great Zetaka was about to pounce on them, but only hesitated because the Great Zetaka wears brand new shirt made of the finest Canthan silk. A gift from one of my many fans, naturally. Wait, you do recognize me, don't you? The Great Zetaka is an exotic creature hunter extraordinaire. I thought that might jog your memory. Allow me to show you my gratitude for saving, that is, helping me with those lions. Since you are clearly a true fan, the Great Zetaka himself will give you a guided tour of Jahai Bluffs and point out the landmarks of his greatest Elonian adventures." So, if you guys have read Harry Potter, he's a bit like Gilderoy Lockhart, let's just say that much. Okay, so follow the Great Zetaka. There is much to see and even more to tell. In fact, I'm so sure that he's like Gilderoy Lockhart. I'm pretty sure that they must have based the character all around him. So if you're aware of that character, it's pretty much a carbon copy in my opinion. But he's pretty hilarious. So he's going to take us to these different locations. Obviously this isn't a Nightfall Let's Play, so I'm just going to cut it till we get to the different bits of dialogue. So the first bit's to the south. I'll see you guys in a sec. Okay, here he is, second position. He says, one day a plague of harpies attacked this very spot from the skies above. Scooped up in their mighty talons, the great Zatuka went on an unforgettable ride through the skies, landing on a nest in the hills. Fortunately, the mighty hunter had remembered his trusty harp. A single chord was enough to set them fighting among themselves, while the great Zatuka bravely slipped away. Okay, so next story is over here. And the next location is here. So here he says, it was only a few days ago that a vicious griffin, lured by the enticing smells of an outdoor banquet, fiercely attacked this helpless village. With but a single arrow, the great Zatuka struck the griffin down from a mile away. It was just an everyday feat for the greatest hunter of our age, but apparently the villagers thought it a big deal. Let's move on. Okay, next spot is all the way up there. Here he is again. He says, the great Zatuka was hot on the trail of a rampaging Natuka when a powerful blow struck him from behind. A vile, treacherous Hecate had ambushed the most skilled hunter in the world, launching his strike from those very cliffs you see before you. Fortunately, the creature had not counted on the wrestling skills of the great Zatuka had picked up at the renowned Qingji monastery. I know you want to hear more daring tales of the great Zatuka, but it will be dark soon and the prey will be on the move. Journey to the gates of Jahai with the great Zatuka, and there we will go our separate ways. I actually got to the last location before him this time. Awesome. Come on, hurry up. Right, so this is the fortress of Jahai. I guess he's actually going to go through it. Of course, he can. He's from Corner, so... Come on, what do you have to say? Oh, there we go. So now we can speak to him. He says, how can you doubt the power of Corner once you see the mighty fortress of Jahai? Yeah, it is pretty mighty, but we did eventually go in it when it fell into torment. Anyway, I hope you have enjoyed the heroic tales of my storied past. I'll be headed into Vabi now to seek out prey and adventure of different sort. These trophies are sure to bring a tidy fortune, and the great Zatuka needs pocket money. I do hope we meet again, my friend. You've more than earned your share in the gratitude of the great Zatuka. So, yeah, and we do end up meeting him again. He goes off to Vabi, so let's fast forward and go back to the Tyhark Orchid mission. And what do you know, here he is, the great Zatuka. So this is right in the middle of the party where we were before. If you remember those episodes, I was talking for like 40 minutes solid, and I was really tempted to mention him here, but I never did in the end just because I had so much other stuff to talk about. So here he is, and what does he say? Oh, it's you again, Matt. You're just in time to see me off. I'm preparing for my next hunting safari, the greatest safari the lands of Vabi have ever seen. I'm headed into the desolation after the greatest worm to burrow the sands of Alona. I shall return a triumphant hero, dragging the carcass of the beast behind me, so all can celebrate my prowess. Surely there will be a feast greater than even the one before you today when I return. Make sure you attend. It will be a historic occasion. So you learn he's going to the desolation, and I'll talk more about that in a second. But also, do you remember this thing here with Zelo the Drunkard, where you grab drinks from everyone to get drunk while he drinks from his keg? Let's start this and try and take the great Zatuka's drink. It's really cool, just such a small little touch. I love it when this game actually goes to little details like this. It's hilarious. So yeah, try and take his drink. What is a festival without a drink or two? Boring, that's what. Are you drinking that? And then he says, my drink has been stolen, time to hunt down this lascivious liquid thief and dish out the thrashing of a lifetime. And he tries to fight you, and all you have to do is take off a fifth of his health, and he gives up, as you can see here. Or he's supposed to give up. Yeah, there we go. Oh, half of his health? Why is he dying? Give up now, amateur, you'll never beat me. Oh, okay, so there we go. Leave him with a fifth of health, I guess. So yeah, it's pretty hilarious. Hey, that was my drink. So yeah, quite a funny guy, really. Just someone you want to laugh at. Alright, so you learn he goes to the desolation. Now, what happens in the desolation is you never actually find him here, but you have a random chance when you zone into certain explorable areas to find items on the floor. One of them is a backpack, so you can get like a unique bag. One of them's a bow. One of them's like this small alcoholic drink. They're called like Zatuka's pack, Zatuka's jug, and there's another one called Zatuka's Great Horn, which I'm going to cut and try and find for you guys and get lucky, and I'll show you me picking it up. And then we'll return to the Norn tournament. So I'll see you guys in a sec. Okay, so remember ages ago when we were at the Crystal Overlook, which is where we are right now, by the way, and I said that there was stuff in the southern regions, but there's not much reason to go there, and I was hoping to show you it ages later. Well, welcome to ages later, guys, if you do remember that. Basically, in the middle of the Crystal Overlook, in the middle here, is this big temple thing in the middle of the desolation, and yes, one of Zatuka's artifacts appears right in the middle here, and this is the Zatuka's Great Horn. Okay, so there are a few all over the place, but this is the one we really want right now. His horn. So let's grab it. It just appears randomly on the floor. Sometimes it doesn't spawn, sometimes it does. But we've got it, and now we can go back. Now, just so you know, Zatuka's items are all sort of spread around the desolation, and it looks as if he might have died there. And in fact, later on, you'll find out that when you go to the desolation, there's another quest to do with him there, and he's sort of there, and he's saying, "Oh yes, hello, blah blah blah," and he just keeps taking credit. And even at the end of the game, I think he starts trying to take credit for sort of ending Nightfall instead of you. So yeah, that's kind of what his story is. And then eventually, he ends up here at the Norn tournament. But what's cool is, you might be wondering, why am I going to so much length about him? Well, first, because I think he's quite a cool character, and we kind of glossed all the way over him, so I wanted to show you that. And second, because if you have his horn, all of the items have immediate benefits, except for his great horn, so which doesn't really have any benefit at all, as far as we can see. But if you take that with you, and then try and fight him in the tournament, which I'm now going to do.
Are you hunting something?
There we go, at long last. Okay, so here he is. Here's the Grazer Tuka. Fuck me, I had to log in 16 times for him to appear here. Jesus. Okay, so stand in awe. The greatest of all hunters stands before you. You will tell your grandchildren that this was the day you met a legend in the flesh. Okay, so you come and fight him with the horn. I'll try and do the same technique I did before, where we let him go trap Corey. See, he starts to block as well, so you want to... See that thing there? Smoke trap, that blinds you. There you go. So he's blocking. Wait for his block to run out, which should be in about 20 seconds, which takes a long time, but there you go. And then hopefully he can start dying. There we go. This should be fine. And then when you kill him, this time, he'll say something different. You only managed to beat me because I was distracted by the great horn you carry, which you clearly must have known was mine. Let me take that off your hands so that our next match may be more fair. Here, take this other one as a reward for returning it to me. So, there we go. Alright, so this episode was a bit chaotic for me, I must admit, guys. But I hope you enjoyed it. So, yeah, you get this one here, this green horn, which is pretty cool. Any profession can use it. So, yeah, that's kind of cool the way they did that. So join me next time. This was a bit of a weird one. Next time we should get at least up to round 4. We might even complete the whole thing. I don't know. But I hope you enjoyed the episode. One last thing before I go. I know the episode's getting really long, but I want to say my mic quality, it keeps going around where the volume is like mad. If you're noticing that, I'm really sorry. My mic seems to be on the way out, so I need to buy a new one. But I hope it's bearable. Trust me, it's really annoying in the editing. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed the episode, guys, and I will see you next time.